hell yes is, and that's on my chest. Miss Spivey is the best, and I can't take credit, I just happen to be blessed. I got a message to share, listen if you dare. Don't follow the shadows, look up and see clear. I swear it's like Plato's allegory of the cave. How can I free people who choose to be slaves? I try until they put me in the grave. I promise the world I save, the world I save. I'm at one with the universe, the world is mine. I'm focused on my grind, I'm focused on the climb up the mountain of success. Love and no stress is written in the stars, prophesied to these stars. Thank you for tuning into the Rising Spivey Show. I'm Chanel Spivey, your host, and I have with me Miss Nisha Parker from Synergy Lounge in the building. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you?
I'm well.
Had a nice day? You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, today we're talking about transformation. As a life expert and a change strategist, tell me what are some of the problems that you see a lot of people struggle or dealing with?
Certainly, I think that there are many problems, but I think the ones that stand out the most is first, individuals who they have problems with relationships with other individuals, but in reality, they start with themselves. The other thing I think people have a problem with is letting go of the past. And taking that baggage, they take that forward, and so they continue to create the same cycle over and over and over again. And the last of the most prominent, I would say, is a lack of direction. So people want to do something, they're not quite sure what that is, and they're not quite sure how to get there when they find out what it is. So I think those are the three top.
Tell us what is Synergy Lounge?
So Synergy Lounge is an empowerment organization I started in 2008. Synergy being collective forces, and lounge is a very comfortable, transparent word to capture people. I want people to be able to be comfortable when they come to talk to me or anyone that's affiliated with Synergy Lounge. So that's pretty much what it is. It's an organization that focuses on taking the person to the next level, be it training, seminars, and coaching. There are many things that we do, but those are the ones that really stand out that help people.
I know you're empowering, so a big part of that, or empowering people and getting people ready for the world to be the best people they can be, is helping them to find their purpose.
Yes.
How would you recommend, or what are some of the conversations you have with your clients about finding purpose?
I think that, we have gifts and we have talents, and those things are there to help you with whatever it is you're supposed to do. So what I would do is I encourage individuals to write down the passion, the things that they would do if there was no money in the world, if they had all the time, something that comes very natural to you. I think you start there. And once you've identified your talents and your gifts and that thing that drives you crazy that you could do for free, I think that what you do is you find the application of that thing. For example, if you're a great communicator and you have great charisma and things like that, then maybe a talk show host would be good for you. The application comes last. You have to find out what you're good at first.
And that's hard for some people.
Oh, yeah.
I know a lot of people who haven't found their purpose, not even familiar with having a passion. What do you say to them? For those people out there that, want to excel, they want to get ahead, but they're just like, which way do I go? I don't know.
Take the time to do it. There's nothing like the fulfillment that purpose brings. So I would say, if you're going through life and you're just existing, you aren't living. You really should take the time, set it aside, write down. It's very simple. It's not a complicated process. Write down the things that you're very, very good at. People come to you all the time, and they'll tell you what you do. When I first found my purpose, one of the indicators was inspiration. People come to my office all the time, and they would talk, and they would tell me their problems, and when they left, they felt much better. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm good at this. This is something that comes very natural to me. I don't have to study it much. I mean, although you should study your craft, it comes very natural to me. So I think that people should take the time to do it. That's the first step.
How does it make you feel to know that, you're able to help people with your wisdom, with your words, just you? How do you feel? How does it make you feel?
I feel really good about it. I feel it's a great thing to be able to serve. I think it's a great thing to find what you're very good at and to be able to use it. So when I see people who come to me with a problem and they walk away and they have the solution which they've had all along, I feel good because I don't tell them what that is. They have it. What I do is encourage them to find it. and I inspire them, and I make them feel like it's possible, they actually have the answers all along. So it feels real good.
I bet it does. So if we stick around with me, when we get back from the break, we're going to talk about change. This is the episode on transformation. I'm here in the studio with Nisha Parker. We'll be right back. On the next episode of the Rising Spivey Show, I interview best-selling author Zane, and we also travel to the Adinkwa Cultural Arts Studio. You won't want to miss this special episode, so stay tuned to the Rising Spivey Show. When it comes to change, what are some of the first steps a person needs to make? They've decided, it's a new year, I'm ready to change.
Well, for individuals who want to change, that step is just deciding, which they've already decided to do, and to make a plan on how you're going to implement and how you're going to actually achieve that change. So I'd say for individuals who are consciously seeking that, it's a little easier because they know they want to do it. So all they have to do is map out how they're going to execute that, and then they'll meet their objective. So for them, it's a little easier. It's more challenging for people who are resisting change. The change is upon them, and they don't want to walk through it, and it presents a huge problem. It's a setback in many ways. For example, people who may not be so much technology savvy, but we know technology is moving forward. You don't have it's evolving every single day, every minute. So you have to move in it. You have to learn as much as you can to be able to accomplish even the minor things in life. I think it's much harder for those individuals. The first thing for people who are resisting change is enlightenment. They have to see it. They have to understand that it's happening. And then once they do that, once they embrace it, as I say, once they've embraced it, then they can get to the next level with someone who already has decided that they want change. And that is mapping it out and how it looks. So, you're dealing with two different populations, one who doesn't want change and one who wants it. So, but, in both of those, they have to map out how they're going to execute and meet that objective.
I've heard you speak before on how change is a constant evolution. We're always changing.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
Every single day, you should seek to improve yourself. Every day I go home, I sit in my chair and I reflect on things on my day, things that didn't go well, how I could do it better, things that went well that I can continue to make better, just to strengthen. I think that individuals should do that. I think they should seek that every single day, even at the smallest level, because if you don't, then you're going to hurt yourself in the long run, because you can't stand still and move. You can't go forward and stay still. It doesn't work. So I think people should seek to be better every single day.
But what would you say to a person that's not able to spark that desire within them?
Well,
what I mean by that is, let's say I've decided, I need to lose 5 pounds, but I've really been saying that for about 2 years now. What is it that you might give someone a token to Anisha's nugget for them?
Discipline. It's not enough to say what you want because it's empty. You have to say, this is what I want. I have to remain committed to that, meeting the objective to lose 5 pounds. And you have to be willing to go through everything in between to do that. And I think discipline is a big thing for a lot of people who want, change. The other population is for individuals who say they want it. You get individuals, you get friends and family members who say, I really, really, really want to do this, and I need to do this, particularly in relationships. I need to leave this person. I need to lose 5 pounds. I need to find another job. But they don't do it. So you have to be committed to it, and you have to have enough courage to go through with it. And honestly, accountability is not a bad thing. And that's one of the things that I help with. I call you every morning. I'm on you because I know that it's not easy to do by yourself. I help you to be accountable for the commitment that you said you wanted. I have to remind you that you said you wanted. I have to want it. Sometimes I want it, I think, more than that individual, but it keeps them on track.
Let me stop you right there, because that might be the piece that a lot of people are missing, an accountability partner. You know what I mean? Someone that can hold you to, hopefully, sometimes people have a significant other that is able to hold them to their words, their goals, that is.
Yes.
How important is it to have someone that you can give your goals to, that can stay on top of you with that?
Oh, it's extremely important. You have to have accountability. We all are weak in some points in our lives. You may be very strong with exercising, but very weak on following through with other tasks. And you have to have someone in your circle, your inner circle, that's pushing you to saying, oh no, it's not enough. You have to do this. You must do this because you said you want it. And I know that you want it. And I know you're going to be better on the other side. So I'm going to help you to do that. For me, it's one of the things I do for my clients is I'll get up early in the morning and call you. 7 o'clock, you said you want to exercise. What are you doing? Okay? You know, at night, you know, how many calories did you eat today? Okay? What did you burn? All right? And then there are times when people say, you know what, Nisha, I don't necessarily need the weight loss thing. I need to stop the negative thoughts. You know?
And what do you say to them?
I ask them what those negative thoughts are because you have to acknowledge the reality. Yeah, it's not enough to pacify it, to say, oh, those negative thoughts aren't. Yes, they are. They're very real. So you have to deal with them. What were they? You know, I deal with individuals who will see a glass half full, you know, empty. I'm like, why don't you see it full? You know, half full. You know, they'll look at a thorn bush and they'll say, you know, I see thorns, and I see roses. So it's all in how you condition yourself, you know. And I think accountability is extremely important.
Yeah.
You have to have it.
Yeah. It's almost necessary because otherwise you'd just be going full motion. You know, I admitted something to somebody close to me about some things that I had been messing up with. You know what? This is my show. I can tell the truth. I had told her about some of the issues that I was having with a friend and how I wasn't being very fair to the situation. And once I said it out loud, you know what I mean? Sometimes you think things, but now once you admit it, you say, I can't stay here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
I have to hold myself accountable. I've told somebody else. Now I really do have to change.
Oh yeah, yeah. First of all, you've spoken. I mean, we all know the power of words. When you speak it, it becomes. It's very true. You have to be honest with yourself, and you have to speak that which you want. That's just the principle. I think that if you do that, then you're helping yourself, but you're also ministering to yourself when you do that, because you're hearing it. You're hearing it. And then what happens is the knowledge becomes, and you have the wisdom, you start walking in it and applying that thing which you know is good for yourself.
That's excellent. That's everything right there. It's saying it out loud. That is my personal recommendation to everybody to start making those changes. Start saying it out loud. Now, we've talked about change for the individual. When we come back from the break, you know, the Rising Spivey Show is always pushing entrepreneurship, pushing us to start our own small businesses. And we're going to talk about change for the entrepreneurial-minded individual, the person that's considering starting their own business or maybe already in the game for 2 or 3 years. So stay tuned with us with Miss Nisha Parker and Synergy Lounge. We'll be right back.
Harley and Marissa Company creates luxury swimwear that provides its customers with a platform to showcase their personal style. They fuse charm and boldness in their garments, one color at a time. I thank Harley and Marissa Company for being a proud supporter of the Rising Spivey Show.
We've discussed change for the individual, everyday person, you and I. But let's talk about change for the entrepreneurial-minded person, the individual who is looking to start their own business or who is running their own business now. What are some changes specific to entrepreneurship? We covered, you and I, everyday businesses, everyday people. But what about the person in business that wants to take their business to the next level? 2013.
Discipline. I think the entrepreneur has to be very disciplined, and if they're not, they have to change. Because if you don't make it happen, no one else will. I think that you have to surround yourself with people who are where you want to be and who has done it. They have great nuggets to be able to inspire you that you can learn from so that you can execute your plan. You don't have to make mistakes, the same mistakes that many people have made. You can learn from them. And I think you have to plan. If you're not a planner, you need to learn to be. Because many people want things to happen. It's a microwave society. We want things yesterday. We want to be a millionaire yesterday. Our companies, we want them to blow up. We're going to do everything in 2 months. You have to plan. You have to do, I'd say, a 5 to 7 year plan on how you're going to meet those goals incrementally and build up to it. So those things I would say is important.
Talking about planning and then, wanting things to happen very soon. I visited Disney World is Disney World in Florida or Disneyland? I visited
I think it's
Disney.
Disney World, Florida, Disneyland, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I visited one of the
Okay.
Disneys in Florida, in Orlando or Kissimmee,
Okay.
whichever one. And I was very, very encouraged and inspired by Walt Disney's story on how many failures he
Yes,
had.
yes.
Failures of face. And it made me think, if I just keep on going, if I stick to my vision, own and run a great media corporation one day, things will work out, because he stuck to it. But one thing I know that I have to do better with is planning.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Planning is so important.
Failure to plan is planning to fail. You know the saying.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the need to plan, to write down your goals,
Yes.
and to
I think it's easy to write down the goals. You're supposed to make the vision plain. Write it down. But the reality for many people is it's not enough to just write down your goals. What you have to do is set milestones in the midst of them. Okay, if I want to be here, there are things in between here that you have to achieve.
Milestones in the midst of them.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. You have to do that. So here's the objective, all the things in the middle, like, okay, I'm going to do something by next month. It's not going to meet my total objective to build the media corporation that I want, but I know that, next month I'll have 2 new clients that I can do video production for. In March, I will be able to have 3 new clients. I mean, you have to build on that. And maybe by the end of 2013, your goal is to have 13 consecutive, consistent clients, but you build on that. So you have your objective here, and you incrementally build. That is what we need to understand. It is a process.
Tell about that story you told me about incrementally building. Was it Ford or Toyota?
Yeah. Well, there was a company. There was a company in the early of the 20th century, which is the 1900s, and the manufacturer was the largest manufacturer in the United States of America in terms of making cars. And there was a gentleman who came to him, and he came with his team, Kaizen, and he said, listen, I can help you to make the best car, So the team said, well, look, we already have the best car. We are the top in the world right now. We don't need to make the best car. But what the gentleman was saying to them is that you have to sustain that. You want to stay there and to continue, you want to build and sustain what you have. You don't want to lose that. And we all know you have to continue to do things to be on top. So he says, no, we don't want to do that. He says you have to do it on the assembly line. That was his goal. It's like you do small incrementally things on the assembly line during certain times, and you build it, and you'll have a great brand. Well, it wasn't called brand back then. It was something else. They didn't listen. So he took his idea overseas, and I won't tell you now, but you look overseas and you see who the largest manufacturer is. And it's because they listened to him. At that time, they were not. They were not on the map in terms of manufacturing cars, but they listened. And over the years, they incrementally built upon their company, listening to the advice of someone who was very wise, but who understood longevity. You can't have things overnight, but you can plan and have it incrementally build up so that you may be able to achieve your goal. And who knows, it could be bigger. But just want a great goal, have a great goal, but understand that it's a process.
You have a passion, undeniably, for what you do, because I know that you held a position as an executive, great salary, making 6 figures, but there was something still that led you into starting your own organization. Tell us about the change that you had to go through when you birthed Synergy Lounge.
My goodness, I think most entrepreneurs go through this when women, when we have babies, we go through the process of our children developing inside of us, and we don't know whether it's a girl or a boy. We just hope that it's a healthy baby. And that's how it is when you're doing entrepreneurship. You don't quite know what it is when you're first starting. You're just getting all stirred up inside your spirit.
It is.
And you're like, I just want this thing to come out. But as you grow and as you evolve and understanding what's going on, as you're in transition, for me, it was something's happening. People are coming to me. They're listening to me. They're changing their lives. They continue to come. It fulfills me and it helps them. So for me, it wasn't enough to make 6 figures. It wasn't enough to go to a job every day where I didn't have the flexibility or liberation to be able to do more of that, because there were deadlines that needed to be met that I had no control over. So I decided that I wanted to do something all day, every day. So I would create an organization that would allow me to do that, understanding incremental, because you can't just walk away from your job. Everybody's not fortunate to do that. So I plan. you know, and I continue to plan so that I would have the, you know, the epicenter for empowerment, Synergy Lounge, 10 years from now.
The epicenter of empowerment.
Absolutely, that's how I see it. But I understand Kaizen, that you continually incrementally build on that. So for me, it was a process, and I had to embrace it, because many of us get stuck in the whole 9 to 5. You know, you got to have a job. You know, I love God, so I must say this: that there's nowhere in the Bible that says you have to have a job. It says you have to work. So for me, my work was helping people to find their purpose, to be better, to live better, to expect better, to walk in better. So that is what Synergy Lounge allowed me to do. So I think for people who are just starting, one of the things they must realize is that it's not going to unfold overnight. You may be a little cloudy for a while. You may not know what you want to do, but you know it's something. And then when you get to the point where you realize what that something is, you still may have an array of different things within it. Many companies go through different metamorphoses. Where like, oh, I want to do this, but I want to do this. And really, it could be part of the bigger vision. It could be all of it. But there's timing. There's planning that you have to walk into. And that's what I had to learn. Most entrepreneurs are so excited about their product, about their purpose, about whatever it is they're doing. That's a great thing. You should always be excited about what you're doing, about what you're walking in. But you must understand that it is a process, and you're building upon that. You're going to fail sometimes. You're going to, you know, win sometimes. But you must take all of it as lessons. All of it, and you take it and you move it forward. For those things that you fail at, you do better next time. For the things that you win at, you do better.
You give so much, helping so many people. You have helped me. But what is your source? What helps you? Tell us what your source is.
Honestly, God. You have to be replenished. You know, for me, my source is God. You know, I pray, I read, I fellowship with people who are seeking the same thing that I'm seeking. But ultimately, it is definitely God.
I close every show with the same question. What is the Nisha Parker brand? When someone thinks of Nisha Parker, what do you want them to envision?
I want them to see compassion. I want them to see empowerment. I want them to see inspiration and enlightenment. I want them to think about next level, that she could help you to get there, that her organization is not selfish, that it's helping people to maximize their greatness inside. That is what I want people to know about Nisha, that compassion, empowerment, inspiration, and enlightenment is what she stands for.
Now I want you all to visit her online at www.synergylounge.org. She's helped me. I'm sure in the past couple of minutes this episode she's helped you as well. So visit her online and get more information. Is there anything else that you want to leave the audience with?
I want to just help you to understand that I don't care how tough it is. I don't care what challenges may bring you. There are things you can't control in life. And however you respond to it is going to determine the consequence and the outcome. So know that you can be better, you can do better, and you should walk in it. It's just waiting for you.